Hey, what's going on, Soulmates? I want to talk to you guys about the Galactus project now that it's ended, and we can do a little bit of an autopsy on it and figure out where things went right, where things went wrong, and where all the gray area is in between. One of the things I noticed about Galactus was the intense fear of missing out that a lot of people were experiencing, where they couldn't imagine themselves not buying Galactus, because it seemed like everyone was doing it. And you know, I get it. When it feels like you're the odd man out and everyone is already doing it, it's hard to be the one who says no. Adding fuel to that fear of missing out fire is the people who don't already have a Galactus. And now that there's a Galactus available, now you're going to be more inclined to get that one. Another thing I noticed is that the stretch goals for Galactus were completely and utterly mismanaged. There was no reason to be so secretive about what the stretch goals were, and honestly, I know why the stretch goals were so secretive. They wanted 14,000 backers for Galactus, which was well over the number of backers needed for the Sentinel. So I don't think they had anything planned past Silver Surfer, but even then they kept the Silver Surfer in the dark until the 11th hour, it seemed like. And I have to ask, just why? Weren't they confident about the crowdfunding project that they had put out there? Or were they just kind of making it up as they went along? Do I think this was planned out? Well, no. It's just a big mishmash of Galactus stuff. They included the original Galactus trilogy that Jack Kirby drew, and then they included some stuff from the Herald ordeal, and then they just tacked on a Doomhead, and they called it a day. Even though the Doomhead doesn't really appear from anything Galactus related, what the Doomhead comes from is from this random comic book where it doesn't even look like it does when this Doomhead is on the Galactus body. I think that this was a terrible idea for Hasbro to go into the Galactus project right after they had done the Sentinel project. Number one, because of the pandemic, people are still in dire straits financially. It's hard for all the fans out there to invest in the project, right? But then, where else do you go after Galactus, right? You've already done pretty much the biggest character you could possibly do in a Marvel Legends line that anyone would recognize. They should have done something a little smaller before they went on to Galactus, just so that you could have a little bit more anticipation for the project, and also to be a little kinder for the people during the pandemic. A lot of people have been suggesting the Fantasticar project, and I think that that would have been a fantastic idea. If they had done the Fantasticar, it would have been smaller in scope, it would have been a very nice accessory for the Fantastic Four figures, and then you could have had a stretch goal where you would unlock the Fantastic Four. And that's an easy slam dunk right there. That's the easiest slam dunk in the world, baby. If we learned anything about the price point from the Galactus project, we learned that people will pay it, no matter what. Was this really worth $400? It didn't feel like it was worth $400, even though you had a good number of items included with Galactus. No one was really happy with the project as a whole, I don't think. It felt like a big compromise in the end. Galactus looked really good, which was a notch in its favor, and it included the Jack Kirby comics, which was another notch. And then they included a bunch of tiers that appeared to diverge wildly from the tone that they had set. You thought that maybe they were going to do a bunch of Jack Kirby related stuff, which would have been really cool. Alternatively, it seemed that they were going to be focusing on the Herald ordeal, which was a bit of a surprise, but then I thought to myself, well, that's pretty cool if they're going to do that, and I thought to myself that maybe I should get in on this. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. And if you want to hang out with me and my soulmates on Twitch, I stream live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But then I saw the Doomhead, and then I just kind of shook my head and said, nah, never mind. So in the end, by the time all the tiers were unlocked, no one was really happy. The Kirby fans weren't happy, the Herald ordeal fans weren't happy. The only one who was happy was Hasbro, because they got all their money. It really did feel like doing Galactus so soon after the Sentinel was a display of pure greed by Hasbro, especially in the heat of a pandemic, like I just said, but also because the number of backers, like I said, was essentially doubled. And besides which, does Hasbro really need people to back them on their projects? Not really. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They can fund everything their own damn selves. They got the money. They don't need people to give them money. It's a giant scam just to pass the risk onto the consumer, man. And now that people finally got their Sentinels, we got a taste of what the knee joint might be like on Galactus. Because on the Sentinels, there's a knee joint that is very loosey-goosey, but then it has screws on a joint inside the knee, where people are saying if you tighten them, it makes the joint tighter, but anyone with even a basic knowledge of engineering knows that that joint is going to break over time. And I can't say for sure that Galactus has the same knee joint as the Sentinel, but from the pictures I've seen, it really does look like it kinda has the same joint. So I'm wondering now, is Galactus going to be in the same sort of condition that the Sentinel is a year from now? And are we going to be dealing with this same sort of joint a year from now? Or is Hasbro going to do something to mitigate that problem by including a ratchet joint instead of the screw joint? And you know, Soulmates, speaking of the Sentinel, that's another thing that we've learned about this project, is that Hasbro has no problem going through an entire crowdfunding project before the current project even ships out, because they didn't want people to know about the quality of the Sentinel before the Galactus project ended, because they were fearful that the project wouldn't be successful then. Given that we know now that Hasbro can put out anything and people will give them money for it, one has to wonder now what it's going to be like for a Marvel Legends Haslab project in another year when they finally announce their new one. How expensive is it going to be? Is it going to be $500 this time? Is it going to require 20,000 backers this time? They'll push the envelope as far as they can because they know they can get away with it. Anyway, Soulmates, what are the takeaways from the Galactus crowdfunding project? What did you learn from the Galactus crowdfunding project? What were the good things that happened? What were the bad things that happened? I don't know, Soulmates. Let me know in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you about it. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. And if you want to hang out with me and my Soulmates, I stream live on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to play some superhero games, and I would love to see you. I'll be back again soon with some more thoughts about new toy releases, and until then, with love from me to you, bye-bye.